Other people's high school experience. First crushes, first dates, first kisses. My high school experience. Getting chased by cat girls, getting petted by cat girls, and watching cat girls fight over who gets to sniff me first. My superpower is being fatally attractive to felines. Sounds cool, right? Not so much when you're cornered in an alley by three strays who want to cuddle you into submission, or when a new transfer student pins you against a wall. When I'm Leo Miller, 18, just your average high school senior, but I have a secret I can't tell anyone. I'm basically human catnip. It sounds like a cool superhero name, but in reality, it's just brought me a lifetime of trouble. To put it simply, my body gives off some kind of pheromone that's intensely attractive to felines. I'm a walking, talking cat magnet. Ever since I was a kid, stray cats on the street would go nuts, rubbing all over me. Once at the zoo, the tiger in the enclosure started acting weirdly interested, staring me down from behind the glass. I almost wet my pants. Leo, is that cat hair on your backpack again? Mom asked, frowning as she held it up. Oh, must have brushed past the pet store on my way home. I lied, snatching the bag back. I didn't have the heart to tell her I'd been ambushed by a trio of alley cats that morning. Humans can't detect this weird aura of mine, but to any member of the feline family, including, as I would soon learn, the supernatural kind, it's utterly intoxicating. It wasn't until my junior year, when Luna Pierce transferred to our school, that I realized my condition could also attract a different kind of romantic interest. It was a normal Monday morning. As usual, I sprinted into class just as the bell rang. Our homeroom teacher, Mr. Davison, was standing at the front of the room, and next to him was a girl I'd never seen before. Settle down, everyone. We have a new student joining us today. Please make her feel welcome. Instantly, every guy in the room sat up straighter. The girl standing next to Mr. Davison had silky, shoulder-length black hair and skin so pale it was almost translucent. Her features were delicate, like a porcelain doll's. But her eyes were the most striking part, a pair of amber irises that seemed to glow in the morning light. My name is Luna Pierce. It's nice to meet you, she said. Her voice was clear and melodic, but with a faint, almost lazy undertone. Luna just moved here from Denver. Let's all be sure to help her out. Mr. Davison scanned the room. Luna, why don't you take the empty seat next to Leo Miller? My heart skipped a beat. The only empty desk in the class was, in fact, next to me, but I never imagined a girl who looked like she belonged on a magazine cover would end up sitting next to a guy like me. Luna moved toward my desk with a light, graceful gait. As she got closer, I saw her nose twitch slightly. Her amber pupils suddenly dilated. You, she began, standing right in front of me, her expression suddenly strange. Before I could react, she lunged. Mio. The entire class erupted. She had tackled me back into my chair and was now nuzzling my neck like a cat, letting out a soft, contented purr. My face flushed crimson. I could feel her soft body pressed against mine and smell the faint scent of jasmine in her hair. El Luna, I stammered, frozen in place. Oh, she seemed to snap out of it, jerking back as if she'd been zapped. Her cheeks were bright red. Sorry, my blood sugar must be low. Mr. Davison cleared his throat awkwardly. Luna, would you like to go to the nurse's office? No, I'm fine, she said, frantically smoothing her hair. She quickly sat down in the desk beside me and refused to look in my direction for the rest of the period. 3 at break, I headed for the bathroom to splash some cold water on my face. Just as I rounded the corner into the empty hallway, a hand shot out and pulled me into a dark and used clubroom. The door slammed shut. Luna Pierce had me pinned against the wall, her amber eyes shining in the dim light. What are you? She demanded, her voice low but more curious than hostile. I am just a student. I stuttered. Impossible. Her nose twitched again. The scent coming off you. It's overwhelming. I can't control myself. It all clicked. You're a cat girl. Luna's expression hardened. How did you know? Because I sighed, deciding there was no point in hiding it. I'm basically human catnip. I have this condition that makes felines drawn to me. I've been dealing with cats my whole life, but you're the first one to have such a strong reaction. Human catnip? Her eyes widened. Then a look of understanding dawned on her face. No wonder. The second I got close, all I wanted to do was cuddle you. Her tone suddenly turned dangerous. So, Did you sit next to me on purpose? No way, I said, holding up my hands. Mr. Davison assigned the seat, and I had no idea you were Catgirl. Luna stared at me for a few seconds, judging whether I was telling the truth. Then, she relaxed, a sly grin spreading across her face. So, does that make you my own personal Catnip? Before I could process that, she pounced again, but this time it was deliberate. She clung to me like a giant cat, rubbing her cheek against my chest. Hey, let go. I tried to push her away, but I was afraid of being too rough. No, she whined, her voice muffled. Just for a minute. You smell so good. Luna, we're at school. I hissed. Call me Luna, she purred, tilting her head back. Her eyes were half closed, a blissful smile on her face. In that moment, I had to admit this supernatural knockout was kind of cute. And so, Luna and I struck a bizarre deal. I would let her get her fix, her words, once in a while. In exchange, she'd protect me from any other feline supernaturals who might get a whiff of me. There are other catfolk at school? I asked, surprised. Of course, Luna said, toying with the hem of my shirt. That red-haired senior, Jessica, she's a leopard shifter. A couple of the cafeteria ladies are catfolk, too, and then she stopped, her head snapping toward the door. Someone's coming. The doorknob turned. Luna instantly leaped off me and pretended to be organizing some old club flyers. Hey, what are you guys doing in here? It was Chris Morgan, the class president. We were just discussing club recruitment. I blurted out. Club recruitment? Chris looked at us suspiciously. What club are you in? I was drawing a blank. The Feline Studies Club, Luna said without missing a beat. We're very interested in the behavioral patterns of Felis catus. Chris gave us a weird look. We have a club for that. It's new, Luna said with a smile so sweet it was impossible to doubt her. After Chris left, I let out a long breath. You don't even blink when you lie. Basic cat girl survival skill, she said with a wink, then leaned in for another sniff. But seriously, you smell amazing. Stop. I planted my hand on her forehead. Our deal was 5 minutes a day max. Stingy, she pouted, but she backed off. In the days that followed, Luna and I fell into a strange routine. Every morning before anyone else arrived, she would recharge her batteries, which meant hugging me and burying her face in my shoulder for a few minutes. In return, she really did keep a lot of trouble at bay. One afternoon, a stray cat shifter tried to follow me home, but Luna scared him off with a single glare. Another time, one of the catfolk lunch ladies tried to pile extra fish sticks onto my tray, but Luna stepped in. They're just trying to get a piece of you, she said, indignant. A human catnip is a precious resource. You can't just waste it on anyone. So to you, I'm just a resource. I couldn't help but ask, a strange pang of disappointment hitting me. Luna paused, then looked at me with a rare seriousness. Not just that. She looked down, fiddling with the end of her hair. Being with you. It's comforting. My heart did a little flip. As time went on, I discovered that Luna wasn't as cool and aloof as she seemed. She had a cat's mischievous streak and endless curiosity, which often led to situations that were equal parts frustrating and hilarious. One day, during lunch, I found her curled up asleep on a sunny windowsill, looking exactly like a cat basking in the sun. Another time, she saw a butterfly fluttering down the hall and instinctively pounced after it, crashing right into the dean of students. Miss Pierce, compose yourself, the dean said, adjusting his glasses. I'm sorry, she muttered, her ears turning red. Once he was gone, I couldn't hold back my laughter. You are unbelievable. Shut up, she snapped, stomping on my foot, though not hard enough to hurt. Slowly, I realized I was starting to look forward to my daily interactions with Luna. The way she'd act spoiled, the way she'd get angry, even the dumb things she did. I found it all adorable. About a month later, Luna pulled me up to the rooftop with a secretive look on her face. I want to show you something, she said, and then her ears twitched. Wait, ears. My eyes widened. 2 fluffy black cat ears had sprouted from the top of her head, twitching slightly with her mood. Your ears. They only pop out when I'm really relaxed, she said, looking a little shy. Around you. I can't seem to keep them in. On impulse, I reached out and gently touched one of them. The soft, furry texture sent a jolt through me. Mario. Luna let out a soft, happy sound, instinctively leaning her head into my hand. At that moment, I thought my heart was going to pound its way out of my chest. "Leo," she said, looking up at me, her amber eyes fixed on mine. "I think I might." "Hey, Luna," a sweet, sing-song voice interrupted. We both turned. A petite girl was standing at the entrance to the roof. She had a head of fluffy, golden-brown curls and startlingly green eyes. She was looking at us, or more accurately, she was looking at me. "Sophie." Luna's expression turned wary, and her cat ears stood straight up. "What are you doing here?" "I heard you were hiding a treasure up here," the girl named Sophie said, bouncing over to us. Her nose was twitching nonstop. "Wow, that's the scent. It's amazing." She launched herself at me so fast, I didn't have time to react. Suddenly, I was enveloped in a hug, a cloud of vanilla-scented hair on my face as Sophie snuggled against my chest. So cozy," she purred. "Sophie, get off him." Luna yanked her off me and stood protectively in front of me. "Why? Don't be so selfish, Luna." Sophie pouted. "Something this wonderful should be shared." "He's mine," Luna blurted out. The second the words left her mouth, her face turned scarlet. "Ooh," Sophie said, her big eyes blinking. "You like him?" That's not what I meant." Luna stammered. "I meant, he's my personal catnip." Sophie tilted her head. "Well then, can I borrow him? Just for a little bit?" "No," Luna said, her voice firm. "So mean." Sophie's cheeks puffed out. Then, an idea struck her. "Let's have a fair competition. We'll see which one of us he likes more." I was stuck between two cat girls, completely unable to get a word in. Sophie turned to me, her green eyes sparkling. "Leo, I'm way cuter than Luna, right? My fur is much softer, too." As she spoke, a pair of fluffy, golden-brown cat ears popped out of her hair, and she gave them a deliberate wiggle. "Sophie, stop trying to seduce him." Luna was so mad that her tail popped out. "Wait a tail." I now noticed a long, black cat tail swishing angrily behind Luna, the fur standing on end. "Wow, you even let your tail out." Sophie gasped. "You must really, really like him." "You." Luna, flustered and furious, grabbed my hand. "We're leaving." She dragged me off the roof as Sophie's voice called after us. "I'm not giving up. See you tomorrow, Leo." Back in the classroom, Luna was still fuming, her ears and tail still out. Your tail," I whispered. She frantically tucked it away, but the ears remained. "This is all Sophie's fault. She's a cat girl, too?" "Yeah, a rag doll," Luna scoffed. "She thinks she can charm anyone just because she's got pretty fur." I couldn't help but smile. "Are you jealous?" "Who's jealous?" Luna's face flushed again. I just don't like people touching my things." "Things?" I raised an eyebrow. "No, that's not." She was tripping over her words. "I mean," seeing her so flustered was surprisingly fun. "So I'm your personal catnip?" "Yes, personal." She gripped my arm, her expression serious. "Don't you let Sophie touch you." "Well, that depends on how you behave," I teased. Luna blinked, then her eyes narrowed. "You're learning." Then she leaned in and gave my neck a soft, quick bite. "Hey," I yelped, startled. "Scent marking," she said smugly. "Now all the other cat shifters will know you're taken." I touched the spot on my neck. It didn't hurt, it just tingled. Looking at Luna's triumphant expression, I had the sudden, overwhelming urge to ruffle her cat ears. In fact, that's exactly what I did. "Mro!" She instantly melted, her eyes closing as she leaned into my touch. "You too. Class is starting." Mr. Davison's voice boomed from the doorway. We sprang apart. Luna quickly hid her ears, and I sat up straight, but I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. On the walk home from school, Luna insisted on walking with me. "Just in case Sophie tries to ambush you," she explained. "You really don't have to worry," I said with a smile. "Compared to Sophie, I prefer." "Prefer what?" Luna's ears twitched with anticipation. "I prefer black cats," I said, deliberately leaving it vague. She turned her head away, but I saw her tail give a happy little flick. Halfway home, we were, of course, ambushed. Sophie dropped down from a tree, landing silently in front of us. "Knew you'd be walking him home," she chirped. "Sophie." Luna immediately went on high alert. "Relax." Sophie circled me once. "I just wanted to tell Leo that the club fair is tomorrow." He has to come check out the Feline Study Club. Our club hasn't even been approved yet. Luna shot back. It is now, Sophie said, waving a piece of paper. My uncle is the dean of students. You. Luna was speechless. Sophie took her chance, leaning in close to me. See you tomorrow, Leo, she whispered, then gave me a quick peck on the cheek before leaping onto a nearby fence and vanishing. SOPHI. Luna went into full-on rage mode, her ears and tail popping out, all fur on end. Easy, easy, I said, trying to calm her down. She kissed you. Luna fumed, as she grabbed my collar, pulled me down, and planted a kiss on my other cheek. There. Now we're even. I stared at her, stunned. Luna stared back, equally stunned. We locked eyes, and her face turned red so fast it was like watching a traffic light change. I just meant, she stammered, trying to explain. Luna, I said softly, are you? I don't know, she blurted out, covering her human ears, while her cat ears remained on top of her head. Don't ask. Watching her, so flustered and cute, something clicked in my mind, and a warm feeling spread through my chest. Okay, I won't ask, I said, smiling as I ruffled her cat ears. See you tomorrow, my personal cat girl. Luna's face got even redder, but this time, she didn't argue. 10. The next morning, the school bulletin board featured a freshly printed notice. The Feline Studies Club was now officially recognized. Next to it was a flashy recruitment poster covered in cute cat drawings. In the bottom corner, Sophie had signed her name with a little heart next to it. She works fast, I mumbled. Oomph. I bet she stayed up all night making that, Luna said from behind me, her voice dripping with scorn. Ragdolls love all that flashy, cutesy stuff. I turned and noticed she'd put in some extra effort today. Her black hair, usually tied back, was down and perfectly styled. She even had a small, silver cat-shaped pin on her uniform collar. You look really nice today, I said honestly. Her cheeks colored slightly, and her cat ears gave a little twitch. You don't get any ideas. I just want to make sure Sophie didn't pull any tricks. So I decided to look presentable. Right, I said, smiling. My gaze drifted to the cat, ears peeking through her hair. About your ears, though. She clamped her hands over her head. It's your fault for complimenting me. I can't control them when I get happy. Just then, Sophie bounced over. She was wearing a plaid skirt and had two little cat-shaped clips in her golden brown curls, looking like a perfect doll. Good morning, Leo, she chirped, waving at me before sticking her tongue out at Luna. Luna, you're trying so hard today. It's cute, but she did a little twirl. Boys prefer the sweet type like me over the cold. Aloof type, don't you think? Why you? Luna's tail was about to pop out again, but I quickly put a hand on her shoulder. Sophie, cut it out, I said, trying to mediate. I'm not doing anything, she said, batting her green eyes at me. The first club meeting is after school today. You have to be there. I got all sorts of fun stuff planned. Then, before Luna could react, she leaned in, planted another quick kiss on my cheek, and scampered off, giggling. SOPHI. Luna completely lost it. This time the tail definitely came out, a long, black plume of bristling fur. Calm down, I said, soothingly stroking her cat ears, which always seemed to work. We'll go to the meeting. You're a member, too, right? Of course I'm going, Luna huffed as she gradually calmed down under my touch. I can't let her have her way. 11. For the rest of the day, Luna was on high alert. Anytime Sophie got within 5 feet of me, Luna would materialize between us like a tiny, possessive bodyguard. Sophie, for her part, seemed to enjoy pushing Luna's buttons, constantly finding new ways to try and get my attention. The peak came at lunch, when Sophie showed up at my table with a small bag of tuna jerky. Leo, can you taste test this for me? She asked, holding a piece up to my mouth. Before it could reach me, Luna snatched it out of the air and ate it herself. Too salty. I wasn't asking you, Sophie protested. He can't eat food from strangers. Luna retorted. I'm not a stranger. It's a special recipe for my family. They bickered back and forth while I sat between them, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Other students were starting to stare. When did Luna and Sophie get so close? Someone whispered. Are they fighting over Leo Miller? No way. What's so special about that guy? Hearing the gossip, I could feel my face getting hot. I had to admit, being fought over by two of the prettiest girls in school, while definitely a hassle, was also kind of flattering. The second the final bell rang, Sophie was at my desk. Leo, time for the club meeting. I'll show you the way. Hold on. Luna grabbed my other arm. He's coming with me. And so, flanked by two cat girls, I was marched through the crowded hallways under the envious stares of half the student body. 12. The Feline Studies Club was located in what used to be a storage room for the chemistry lab. Sophie had transformed it into a cozy little haven. The walls were covered in cat posters, cat bed-shaped cushions were scattered on the floor, and there was even a full-size cat tree in the corner. You did all this? I asked, impressed. Yup, she said, puffing out her chest proudly. I was here until midnight last night. What do you think? Like it? It's very dedicated. Luna let out a dismissive snort. All flash, no substance. And what did you prepare, Luna? Sophie challenged. Luna pulled a neat little box from her backpack. I brought this. She opened it to reveal rows of perfectly crafted, cat-shaped cookies. Each one was a tiny work of art. Whoa, I breathe. You made these yourself? Luna mumbled, looking uncharacteristically shy. Stayed up all night. A warm feeling spread through me. I never thought the cool, aloof Luna would do something like this for me. It's just cookies, Sophie sniffed, then her eyes lit up. Oh, I know. Let's play a game. What kind of game? I asked warily. I could practically see the gears turning in her head. The ultimate cat challenge. She announced. Luna and I will demonstrate different cat-like abilities, and Leo will be the judge of who does it better. What? Luna frowned. That's a stupid game. Afraid you'll lose? Sophie taunted. Who's afraid? Luna fell for it instantly. Game on. And so began the most surreal performance I had ever witnessed. Sophie went first, leaping gracefully onto the cat tree. She walked along its narrowest branch, did an elegant spin, and finished with a perfect backflip, landing silently on the floor. A ragdoll's sense of balance, she declared. Not to be outdone, Luna took a running start at the wall. Just before impact, she kicked off it, did a mid-air twist, and landed on her feet without a sound. A black cat's agility, she stated coolly, but her twitching tail gave away her pride. Next, Sophie demonstrated flexibility, contorting her body into a series of impossible poses. Luna countered by showing off her pinpoint pouncing accuracy, batting a small eraser off a desk from across the room. They went back and forth, showcasing one feline trait after another. I sat on the sidelines, completely dumbfounded. This was a private, one-of-a-kind catgirl talent show. And for the final round, Sophie announced, cuteness overload. Without another word, she scrambled onto my lap, rubbing her cheek against my hand and letting out a series of adorable, high-pitched purrs. Leo, I like you the best. I was totally flustered. Her cuteness was a weapon of mass destruction. Luna, seeing this, bit her lip. She seemed to be having an internal debate. Finally, she slowly walked over to me, gently tugged on the hem of my shirt, and whispered, "Huh, just that one word." My heart went into overdrive. The cool, aloof Luna, asking for a hug? The contrast was devastatingly cute. I was about to reach for her when Sophie yelled, "Not fair. She's playing the pity card." Am not. Luna snapped back into her usual feisty mode. As they started arguing again, I snuck a cookie from Luna's box. It was delicious. 14 after the meeting, Luna insisted on walking me home. Halfway there, she suddenly asked, "So, who did better today?" I decided to tease her. Well, Sophie's cuteness act was pretty powerful. What? Her fur practically bristled. But, I added with a smile, I think I prefer a certain cool catgirl's rare moment of vulnerability. Luna's face flushed, and she muttered, "Who was being vulnerable?" Just then, the bushes in front of us rustled, and a golden-brown blur shot out. Gotcha! Sophie chirped, blocking our path. Don't you ever give up? Luna cried, exasperated. I just want some alone time with Leo, Sophie said with a wink. Come on, Luna, just lend him to me for 10 minutes? No, Luna grabbed my hand. Run. We took off, with Sophie hot on our heels. Luna led me through a maze of back alleys, finally ducking into a cramped janitor's closet. The space was tiny. We were pressed tightly together. In the dark, I could hear her breathing, smell the jasmine in her hair. Is she gone? I whispered. She'll. Luna's ears twitched. I think she's still close. We stood there in silence, so close I could hear her heartbeat, or maybe it was mine. After what felt like an eternity, Luna whispered, "I think she's gone." But she didn't move to open the door. In the darkness, I felt her hand find mine and squeeze it. "Leo." Her voice was trembling slightly. "Do you really like it more when I act cute?" My heart skipped a beat. "Yeah, it's adorable. I'll only show you," she whispered. Just as the atmosphere turned charged, the closet door was yanked open, flooding us with light. "Found you," Sophie's voice rang out. Then she paused. "Huh? What are you guys doing in here?" Luna and I scrambled apart, her face the color of a ripe tomato. "We were hiding from you," she snapped. "Ooh," Sophie said with a sly grin. "Hiding in a tiny little closet, huh?" "Shut up." Luna grabbed my arm and dragged me out of there, running all the way. The next day at lunch, things got even more dramatic. Sophie had somehow acquired a whole grilled fish and was insisting on feeding it to me. "Leo, say she cooed, holding a piece of fish to my lips. Luna, without a word, intercepted the chopsticks and ate the fish herself. "Luna, you cheat," Sophie protested. "You're the one with no shame." Luna shot back. They went on like this, practically fighting to put food in my mouth as the entire cafeteria stared. Finally, Luna did something that stunned everyone into silence. She sat down on my lap, picked up a piece of tuna jerky, and looked at me with wide, expectant eyes. "Feed me." The cafeteria went dead quiet. Luna Pierce, the cool and beautiful transfer student, was publicly asking to be fed. My hand trembled slightly as I took the jerky and held it to her lips. She took a delicate bite, then shot Sophie a triumphant look that clearly said, "I win." Sophie stared, wide-eyed, then broke into a grin. "Luna, you're a goner." "What's that supposed to mean?" Luna asked warily. "You've fallen in love," Sophie giggled, then skipped away. Luna froze, completely forgetting she was still on my lap. I looked at the tips of her ears, which were bright red. My own heart was hammering against my ribs. I said quietly, "Is she right?" That snapped Luna out of her trance. She leaped off me as if she'd been burned. "In no way. I just didn't want to lose to her." And with that, she fled the cafeteria, leaving her lunch half-eaten. Watching her go, I couldn't help but smile. That girl, who couldn't be honest with herself for a second, was just too cute. Luna finally came back before the afternoon classes started, but she avoided my gaze. It wasn't until the final bell that she shyly approached my desk. "Are you still walking home with me today?" she asked in a small voice. "Of course," I said, standing up with a smile. "My personal cat girl." Her cat ears popped out again, but this time she didn't bother to hide them. That weekend, I was enjoying a rare chance to sleep in when my phone started vibrating like crazy. It was Luna. I groggily answered. "Leo, it's a catastrophe." Her voice was frantic. "My parents found out." I was instantly awake, sitting bolt upright in bed. "Found out what?" About us," she whispered, as if she were hiding. "They found all the pictures of you on my phone last night, and my journal." "Journal?" My heart jumped. "You keep a journal about me?" "That's not the point," she shrieked quietly. "The point is, my parents are furious. They said they're sending someone to test you today." I swallowed hard. Being tested by a family of cat shifters didn't sound promising. "Who are they sending?" I asked. There was a pause on the other end. Then, in a voice filled with utter despair, Luna said, "My sister." "You have a sister?" This was news to me. "Celine. She's 5 years older than me. A purebred black cat shifter, way more powerful than I am." Luna was talking a mile a minute. "She's super strict. She's been my personal nightmare since we were kids." "Leo, you have to be careful." The line went dead. I stared at my phone, my mind racing. 17. Luna's sister was coming to test me. What did that even mean? Should I be preparing for something? As my thoughts spiraled, my doorbell rang. I glanced at the clock. 8:30 a.m. Who would be here this early? My parents were visiting my grandma for the weekend, so I was home alone. The bell rang again, more insistently this time. I threw on a t-shirt and shuffled to the door. When I opened it, I froze. Standing on my porch was a tall, striking woman in her early 20s. She wore a tailored black dress, and her hair was a waterfall of perfect, straight black silk, just like Luna's but longer. Her face was a sharper, more refined version of Luna's, radiating an icy elegance. Her eyes, however, were identical, deep amber, but hers felt like they could see right through you. Leo Miller? Her voice was deeper than Luna's, laced with an authority that demanded respect. "Teach, that's me," I said, instinctively straightening up. "Are you?" "Celine." She raised a single, perfect eyebrow. "Luna told you." That girl never could keep a secret. Without waiting for an invitation, she swept past me into the house, her heels clicking on the tile floor. She scanned the living room, her nose twitching slightly. "Please, have a seat," I stammered, clearing a stack of video games off the couch. "Can I get you something to drink?" "Unnecessary." She sat down gracefully, crossing her legs. "Do you know why I'm here?" Luna said, "You were here to test me." I felt like a defendant awaiting his sentence. "Test you?" She let out a cold, humorless laugh. "No, I'm here to warn you, human." She stood up and advanced on me. As she got closer, I saw her pupils narrow into vertical slits, the way a cat's do, and they glowed with a dangerous light. "Stay away from my sister," she said, her voice dropping to a deadly whisper. "A shifter and a human can never work. To her, you're nothing more than a walking, talking catnip plant. Do you understand?" Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. Even though Luna had said similar things, hearing it from her sister felt different, sharper. "I understand your concern," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "But what Luna and I have, there are no buts." She cut me off. Her fingernails, I now noticed, had elongated into sharp claws. She rested one lightly against my throat. "From this day forward, you will not see Luna again. If you do..." Her threat trailed off. Her nose began to twitch violently. Her pupils morphed from menacing slits back into wide, round circles. "You..." Her voice changed, losing its edge. "The scent coming off you." It hit me then. My catnip aura. 18. Standing this close, Celine was getting a full-strength dose. Her expression shifted from cold fury to confusion, and then to an unmistakable look of intense craving. "What is this?" she murmured, unconsciously leaning closer to my neck. "How can it be so?" "Celine," I asked, cautiously taking a step back. She followed, her eyes glazed over. "Don't move." Her voice was soft now, all the previous authority gone. "Just let me get a little closer." The situation had completely flipped. One second she was threatening my life. The next she was circling me like a house cat that had just found the motherlode. "This is incredible," she whispered. "No wonder Luna is so." Suddenly, a loud thump came from my back porch, followed by the sound of a sliding door being thrown open. Luna burst into the living room like a hurricane, then skidded to a halt. "Celine, what are you doing?" she shrieked, staring at her sister, who was now practically draped over me. Celine snapped out of her trance, stumbling back and smoothing her dress. "Luna, what are you doing here?" "I'm here to stop you from doing something stupid." Luna rushed to my side and grabbed my hand. "You're not to threaten Leo." Celine looked at our joined hands with a complicated expression. "I wasn't threatening him. I was just..." "Just what?" Luna asked, suspicious. Celine was silent for a moment. Then she did something that surprised us both. She reached out and gently ruffled Luna's hair, her voice softening completely. "I was just confirming if this human was worthy of my sister's affection." Luna and I said in unison. Celine sighed and sat back down on the couch. "Sit. Let's talk." We exchanged a confused glance, but did as she said, sitting on the opposite sofa. Luna stayed glued to my side, her hand still gripping mine tightly. "Luna, you know the family rules," Celine said, her tone much gentler now. "Mother and father will never approve of you being with a human." "I don't care about the rules," Luna said stubbornly. "I like Leo, and it's not just because he's human catnip." 19. My heart hammered against my ribs. It was the first time she had ever said it so clearly. Celine gave me a long, thoughtful look. "Is that so? Then tell me, what is it you like about him?" Luna's face turned bright red, her cat ears popping out. He's kind. He comforts me when I have nightmares. And he's always trying to protect me, even though he's just a squishy human. And her voice got quieter. "When he pets my ears, it makes me feel safe." My own face felt like it was on fire. I had no idea she remembered all those little things. Celine watched us, a small smile playing on her lips. "You two are something else." She stood up, walked over to me and, to my complete shock, gently patted my head. Sister, Luna asked, bewildered. His scent really is something special, Celine said to Luna, then turned back to me. Leo Miller, I will not stand in your way. For now. But, I asked nervously, you have to agree to one condition. A sly, cat-like grin spread across her face. You have to let me get a fix once in a while, too. What? Luna shot to her feet, her tail popping out and bristling with rage. No, absolutely not. Leo is my personal catnip. Don't be so stingy, Celine sniffed. I'm risking getting grounded for life by covering for you two with our parents. We don't need your help, Luna said, trying to pull me behind her. You can't have him. Celine ignored her sister's protests and addressed me directly. It's a fair trade, don't you think? I run interference for you, and you let me get a little dose of that premium-grade catnip now and then. I was caught between them, completely lost. If I agreed, Luna would kill me. If I refused, her scary-as-hell sister would kill me. Well, I began trying to broker peace. How about once a week for 5 minutes? Leo, Luna yelped, biting my arm in frustration. Ow! Hey, twice a week, 10 minutes each, Celine countered. No! Luna released my arm and wrapped her arms around my waist. Once a month, 3 minutes tops. Hey, do I get a say in this? I protested. They both turned to me and said in perfect unison, no. 20 in the end, after a fierce negotiation in which I was treated like a highly coveted, inanimate object, we reached an agreement. Celine would help hide our relationship from their parents. In return, she was granted one supervised 5-minute session with me per month. Luna had to be present. Deal, Celine said, holding out a hand. Oomph, Luna grumbled, slapping her hand half-heartedly. I just sat there wondering how, exactly, this had become my life. Once the deal was struck, Celine's entire demeanor changed. She even offered to make us lunch, claiming it was a good way for a future brother-in-law to sample her cooking. Who said anything about marriage? Luna protested, blushing furiously, but her eyes were sparkling with joy. At lunch, Celine regaled me with embarrassing stories from Luna's childhood. When Luna was a kitten, she was terrified of baths. You'd think we were trying to murder her every time, Celine recalled with a smirk. Celine, Luna cried, trying to cover her sister's mouth. And one time, she chased her own tail until she got so dizzy she threw up on Dad's favorite armchair. Stop talking. Luna buried her face in my shoulder, her ears glowing red. I couldn't help but laugh, which earned me a playful punch from Luna. 21 after lunch, Celine said she had to go. Before she left, she pulled me aside, her expression serious for the first time since her initial threat. Leo, I'm not kidding, she said quietly. Luna is very innocent. Once she commits to something, she doesn't back down. If you dare hurt her. I won't, I said, meeting her gaze. I really like her, too. Celine studied me for a long moment, then nodded. See that you don't. She turned to leave, then paused. By the way, my 5-minutes start this month. Tell Luna I'll be in touch. After she left, Luna collapsed against me with a dramatic sigh. That was terrifying. I honestly thought she was going to tear you limb from limb. She seems pretty cool, I said, ruffling her cat ears. That's only because you charmed her. Luna pouted. My sister is usually the iciest person I know, and today she was. Practically begging to sniff you. It's infuriating. Jealous, I teased. I am not, she said, turning away, but her tail wrapped itself around my wrist. We sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Luna asked quietly, Leo, do you really like me? Not just because I'm a cat girl? I turned her face toward me, making her meet my eyes. I like you, Luna. All of you. Your cat ears, your tail, and especially the way your fur stands on end when you're mad. 22 Luna's eyes lit up as if 1,000 tiny stars had just been born inside them. She leaned in slowly and gave me a soft, tentative peck on the lips, then pulled back just as quickly, her face a deep shade of crimson. That was a reward. For handling my sister so well, she stammered. I smiled and pulled her into a hug. In that case, I hope I get to meet the rest of your family. Just as our faces were getting closer again, my phone buzzed. Luna jumped back like a startled cat and pulled out of my pocket. It's Celine, she said, her expression turning strange as she read the text. She says she forgot to tell you that my parents also sent our cousin to watch us in secret. What? I nearly fell off the couch. There's a cousin too? Luna's face fell. And she's a Siamese. They're notoriously tricky. I slumped back onto the couch, staring at the ceiling. Just how many relatives do you have? Luna snuggled onto my chest, rubbing her cheek against my chin. Too late to back out now. I wrapped my arms around her and sighed. Wouldn't dream of it. The afternoon sun streamed through the window, blanketing us in warmth. Luna let out a deep, contented purr, curling up in my arms like a real cat. In that moment, I figured I was probably the luckiest human catnip in the world. #### bonus chapter. Meeting the parents. Are you sure you want to do this? Go to my house. Luna stood in front of me, nervously wringing her hands, her cat ears twitching. It had been 2 weeks since her sister's test, and this was the first time she'd officially invited me to meet her parents. Of course, I said, taking a deep breath and adjusting my collar. We have to face them sooner or later, right? She bit her lip, and her tail snuck out from under her skirt, wrapping itself around my wrist. But my parents are way tougher than Celine. What if they don't approve, we'll elope, I said, half joking as I gave her ear a gentle scratch. Who wants to elope with you? She said, blushing as she batted my hand away, but her tail only tightened its grip. I'm serious. My dad is a pure-blood traditionalist, an elder among the Black Cat clans. My mom is from a prestigious line of Bakaniko. They always wanted me to marry one of my own kind. I took her trembling hand in mine. Don't worry. After what happened with your sister, maybe my catnip powers will work on them too. Luna's eyes went wide. You're planning to use that on my parents? It's called leveraging my assets, I said with a grin, kissing her on the forehead. Come on, let's go before it gets dark. Luna's home was a secluded estate on the outskirts of the city, built around a stunning Japanese-style garden. Walking through the bamboo gate and along the stone path, my heart hammered in my chest. The place was serene, with a small waterfall gurgling in the corner. It's beautiful, I said. My dad's a traditionalist, Luna whispered, her palms sweating. They should be in the tea room. The door to the tea room was closed. Luna took a shaky breath and knocked softly. Father, mother, I brought. Leo, a deep male voice from within, said. Enter. Luna slid the door open, and I followed her inside. In the softly lit room, a middle-aged couple sat formally at a low table. The man had short black hair and a stern face, his amber eyes even sharper than Celine's. The woman beside him was gentle and graceful, her hair tied in an elegant bun. Father, mother, this is Leo Miller, Luna said, her voice trembling. My boyfriend. I bowed respectfully. Mr. and Mrs. Pierce, it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for having me. Luna's father, Orion, sized me up, his gaze cold as ice. A human. Yes, sir. I stood up straight, trying not to look intimidated. Are you aware that relations between our kind and humans are forbidden? His voice was completely devoid of warmth. Father, Luna started. Luna, be quiet. A single look from Orion silenced her. I am speaking to him. I gently squeezed Luna's hand. Mr. Pierce, I've heard about the rules, but I believe what truly matters is the connection Luna and I share, not our differences. Empty words, Orion scoffed. Luna is young and easily swayed. You think just because you have some faint catnip aura you can. He stopped mid-sentence. His nose twitched. At the same time, Luna's mother, Serafina, looked up sharply, sniffing the air. That scent. I realized then that in the enclosed space of the tea room, my catnip aura was especially potent. Orion's stern expression began to crumble. Strange, he muttered, unconsciously leaning forward. How can it be so? Serafina's reaction was far more direct. She stood up, walked right over to me, and practically stuck her nose in my neck. My goodness, this aroma. Mother, Luna gasped, but Serafina was already lost to it. She circled me like a curious cat, taking deep whiffs and sighing contentedly. Even more terrifying, Orion had stood up too. He was fighting to maintain his dignity, but his eyes had completely changed. Leo, Orion's voice sounded strained. Come closer. I hesitantly took a step forward. Orion suddenly grabbed my shoulders, buried his face in the crook of my neck, and took a deep breath. Father, Luna looked like her jaw was about to hit the floor. Magnificent, Orion said, pulling back. His eyes were now wide, round cat pupils, and a pair of black cat ears had sprouted from his hair. This is even better than Luna described. Orion, my turn, Seraphina said, nudging her husband aside to take his place. Ah, yes, the legendary top-shelf human catnip. Mother, father, stop it. Luna tried in vain to intervene, but her parents were completely captivated, taking turns sniffing me. Luna, darling, why didn't you tell us he smelled this good? Seraphina complained while rubbing against my arm. Exactly, hiding such a treasure for yourself. Orion added, claiming my other side. I stood frozen, not daring to move. Who knew the intimidating supernatural parents would turn into two giant, affectionate cats? I should have known. Luna sighed, face-palming. You two have zero resistance to this stuff. Leo, my boy, Orion said, all pretense of formality gone as he clapped me on the back. My daughter has my full blessing. Mine too, Seraphina added. On one condition. What condition? I asked cautiously. You have to come over once a week, so we can get a fix, she said, her eyes sparkling. Mother, Luna stomped her foot. Leo is mine. Stingy, Seraphina pouted. Your sister gets a visit once a month. What? Celine too? Luna whipped her head toward me. Her eyes narrowed. You agreed to that? Well, you were there. I stammered, breaking into a cold sweat. Not only that, a cool voice said from the doorway. I was planning to renegotiate for more time. We all turned to see Celine standing there, holding a folder. Celine, what are you doing here? Luna asked. I heard Leo was meeting the parents, so I came to offer my support, she said, waving the folder, and to present the first draft of the family agreement for the fair allocation of catnip resources. A family agreement? Luna and I exclaimed. Of course, Celine said, gliding into the room. Given the scarcity of the resource, a fair distribution schedule is essential. I propose one weekly session, 30 minutes, rotating between family members. I object. Luna leaped up. Leo is my boyfriend, not a public utility. Then what's your counteroffer? Celine raised an eyebrow. Once a month, 10 minutes, and I have to be there. Luna's tail was swishing furiously. That's outrageous, Seraphina protested. Indeed, we're your parents, Orion added. And so, a heated debate over the Leo Miller usage rights began. I sat in the eye of the storm, watching this family of powerful cat shifters argue over sniffing privileges, feeling a strange mix of helplessness and amusement. I weakly raised my hand. Can I say something? For pairs of intense feline eyes turned to me. I propose, I took a deep breath, that every Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. we have family time. During those 2 hours, I'm all yours. But for the rest of the week, I'd appreciate it if you respected my and Luna's privacy. 2 hours? Orion stroked his chin. Every week. Seraphina's eyes lit up. Acceptable, Celine nodded. Leo, Luna glared at me. You can't just make that decision. I leaned in and whispered in her ear, this way, they won't bother us on school nights. And I lower my voice even more. The rest of the time, I'm all yours. Her ears twitched. A deep blush spread across her cheeks. Oh, really? Of course, I smiled, squeezing her hand. Well, okay then. She relented, a smile she couldn't hide playing on her lips. With the agreement settled, Seraphina went to prepare dinner while Orion and Celine excitedly corner me to discuss strategies for maximizing the catnip experience. Though Luna was still pretending to be annoyed, I could see the sheer relief in her eyes. At dinner, Orion even brought out a bottle of his finest aged sake. Come, Leo, have a drink with your old man, he said, pouring me a glass. Father, he's not 21, Luna protested. Oh, one little cup won't hurt. After a few drinks, Orion was an open book. Leo, you have no idea what a little troublemaker this one was. One time she chased a butterfly right into the koi pond. Came out looking like a drowned rat. Father, Luna cried, mortified. And then there was the time she lost my elder's seal under the sofa. I was late to the council meeting. Ha ha ha. I burst out laughing, earning a swat from Luna. Serafina joined in. She used to sharpen her claws on the curtains, even in middle school. Mother, not you two. Luna's face was beet red. She finally gave up and hid her face on my shoulder. Dinner ended in a chorus of laughter. As I was leaving, Orion put a hand on my shoulder. Leo, you treat her right. You may be human, but... He glanced at Celine and Serafina, who were already planning next week's family time. He sighed. It seems the women in this family are powerless against you. I will, Mr. Pierce, I promised. Luna insisted on walking me home. Under the moonlight, she held my hand tightly, her tail wrapped around my waist. I can't believe that went so well, she murmured. I was preparing for months of hunger strikes. My catnip powers are just too strong, I joked. Oh, shut up, she said, pinching my side gently. But, thank you. For what? For being willing to meet them, she said, looking up at me, her eyes shining in the moonlight. I know how weird all of this must be for a human. I stopped and cupped her face in my hands. For you, it's worth it. Her eyes welled up. She stood on her tiptoes and pressed her lips to mine. It wasn't a shy peck this time, but a real kiss, soft and sure. I love you, Leo, she whispered when we parted. Not because you're catnip, because you're you. My heart melted. I pulled her into a tight hug, whispering back in her soft, furry ears, I love you too, my crazy cat girl. She purred contentedly, rubbing her cheek against my jaw. Oh, by the way, I suddenly remembered. What about your cousin? The Siamese one who was supposed to be spying on us. Luna's body tensed. Oh, about that. What is it? Well, she looked down, embarrassed. They were bluffing. There was no cousin. They just wanted to see if you'd panic. Luna, I groaned, starting to tickle her. I'm sorry, she shrieked, laughing and trying to get away. You were just so easy to fool. Under the moon, our playful shadows danced down the quiet street.